This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Mattering who the host is not a thing that we should focus on. Anyways, today is Tuesday, September the 19th of 2023, day 262 of the year. Yeah, that's it. And only 103 remaining. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio in USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes, hanging out with those people because, they're kind of cool to hang out with. That's why we hang out over there. If not, we'd be hanging out somewhere else. Yeah, I think I said that out loud. Kind of too late now to assess and say, hey, that's not what I said. So how has it been? How has the last 24 hours been for you? Have you done anything exciting? Did you do anything that you want to feel a little bit braggadocious about? It's okay. It's okay to brag. It's okay to be ecstatic about things that are going on. No, seriously, it really is. It's okay to do all those stuff. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. So let's start talking about everything that is going on because there's a lot of stuff. So we're going to talk about what's trending. We're going to talk about what's going on inside of the work environment. We're going to talk about uninvited guests. Yes, we talk about that subject. And what else will we talk about? We'll talk about as well things that are going on in safety and in the news, because that's what we do. We're a safety in the news show. We talk about also what the professional broadcasters have to talk about, which is kind of current news, because you need to be in the mix of the things that are going on. If you weren't in the mix, what the hell would we be doing? So think about that. So as I say some of this stuff, are you excited about what's going on in life today? And well, if you're not, maybe we should reassess some of the things that are happening. I'm just saying. There should be a lot of excitement in life when things are going on. Oh, by the way, today's also a big day for some people. They woke up this morning with the new version of their iOS. iOS 17 is now available on a good slew of Apple devices, or iPad OS, or Watch OS. Yeah, and I'm not plugging there, just bringing stuff up. So some opciones, if you're super excited like Spidey there. just in regards to what's going on. So keep that in mind as well. So with that being said, let's do this. If you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com is the easiest way to do so. Yeah, you just type it in. You type it into whatever browser you want. Callinradio.com. Once you get there, messaging, video, and audio messaging all across the board right there. Easier way to do that than going to the social media aspects, and people go, well, that's bullshit. Well, not really. Let me kind of tell you. If you go to the social media ones, they're great. I'm not saying they're not. People spend a lot of money to get those things to work. I just don't check them. Yeah, I know. It sounds mean, but I just really don't look at it. So by me not looking at it, guess what that means? I'm not paying attention. And by me not paying attention, well, there you go. A lot of stuff not working out. So there it is. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we start talking right away about what the hell was trending in the overnight?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. A couple of tyrants exchange gifts and a morbid door sells at auction. We'll talk about that. Ryan Reynolds wants to know what's up with pumpkin spice obsession. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is proud to be an American. Yeah, okay. Barbie continues to make big bucks at the box office, and talk show hold off on returning. We're going to talk about that one because I think that's kind of an interesting one. We're going to talk about some bear activity here in Florida because I think that's going to be important. Maybe we'll talk about that one a little bit closer to when we get to our main story because I think that's going to be cool. No, seriously, I think it's going to be coolio. As we are talking, because why would we not talk about that sort of stuffo for Scherzo? Seriously. So with that being said, well, what the hell just happened? Okay. Yeah. I don't know what happened here. Just kind of lost everything on my computer screen, but I guess it's kind of the way that the world goes from time to time. From time to time, though. Okay. I guess it's good when we're back. Yeah, so there you go. Anyway, so I have Michael Kastner waiting on the other side where he wants to tell you everything that's going on. So why don't we do this and have Michael Kastner tell you everything that's going on inside of the world of the news? So let's do that. Kastner, go ahead.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. President Biden is set to address the United Nations General Assembly today. Mark Mayfield with more.
The White House says Biden will reiterate U.S. support for Ukraine and issue a defense of American leadership abroad. Ukrainian President Zelensky is also expected to speak at the meetings ahead of his scheduled visit to the White House on Thursday. This comes as the Biden administration is pushing Congress for more funding for the country's fight against Russia. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Former President Trump is expected to skip next week's Republican presidential primary debate. The New York Times reports Trump instead will deliver a primetime speech to auto workers in Detroit. Trump also skipped the first GOP primary debate in Milwaukee last month, citing his sizable lead in the polls. Jewish advocacy groups are criticizing the former president over a recent social media post. Brian Shook reports.
On Truth Social Sunday, Trump shared a photo with a message that blames, quote, liberal Jews who didn't support him for casting votes to destroy America and Israel. It also told them to make better choices amid celebrations of the Jewish New Year. Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenblatt told Forbes that the message is dangerous and wrong. Meantime, the Jewish Council for Public Affairs referred to it as anti-Semitic, saying it's deeply offensive and divisive. I'm Brian Shook.
A new strike deadline has been announced by the United Auto Workers president, Sean Fain. He says if no substantial progress in contract talks has been made by noon on Friday, September 22nd, they will call on more local unions to expand their stand-up strike. UAW member Travis Harrison, who has been picketing in Detroit, says to him the strike is about simple math.
Record profit should be spread out to the employees that are help making that profit.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. The Indian government's denying Canada's allegations that New Delhi was involved in the murder of a Sikh leader. YouTube says it's suspending the monetization of Russell Brand's channel. Japan and the United States are reaffirming the importance of their alliance to maintain peace across the Taiwan Strait, and the US state of California is set to implement legislation forcing large companies to disclose their carbon footprints.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams says it's total madness that a child was killed from fentanyl at a daycare center in the Bronx last week. More from Lisa G.
Adams says fentanyl is not marijuana sitting on your tabletop, but it's a very dangerous drug that even a small amount can kill an adult.
There needs to be a full national assault on this drug entering our city.
He added you can't be a parent and not be angry that one child was killed and 3 others were rushed to the hospital from the drug exposure. Meantime, 2 suspects have been charged with murder and another person is being sought by police.
Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell is criticizing a deal that freed 5 Americans who were detained in Iran.
Tehran continues to accelerate its enrichment of weapons-grade uranium and stonewall international inspectors seeking the truth about Iran's weaponization work.
The U.S. agreed to give Tehran access to $6 billion in assets that were frozen through sanctions. McConnell said the deal is the latest example of President Biden rewarding and incentivizing Iran's bad behavior. The administration is defending the arrangement, stressing that there will be rigid restrictions on Iran's ability to use the money. Iran says that isn't true. A Walt Disney World theme park will be back to regular operations after a bear spotted inside was captured. Florida wildlife expert Ron McGill says thousands of bears live in Florida.
There are approximately 4,000 bears in the state of Florida now, and the majority of that population is in the central part of the state. So we're seeing more and more of these incidences where bears are seeing people and vice versa. But of course, having one in the Magic Kingdom will draw a lot of attention.
Florida wildlife officials caught the bear near the Magic Kingdom's Frontierland. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you going to do? You're going to go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You got to dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
AARP.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, you can believe in magic, and I know that you do, because that's the things that we kind of do together. Anyways, let's see, 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. Yep, that's what happens on Lovely Tuesday, so there you go. So let's get in a little bit deeper, because that's what we need to do, you know, the way that we should. So let's talk about what the hell is going on according to the shit list. Bloomberg reports that David Lee says that Elon Musk is going to start charging anyone who wants to have an X account. Musk made an announcement during the talk of the Israel Prime Minister, Benjamin, and I won't butcher his last name, who appeared on Musk during a live stream discussion about the tech censorship while visiting California. Musk added that requiring payment to access the platform would be the only way to totally get rid of bot accounts. No official statement yet has about the timeline or plan to implement the pay to post plot. So if that's the case, because listen, let's talk about this. This is not the first social media platform to talk about doing something like this. If he was to implement that, will you continue having an X account? Not an account with your ex. I mean, you know, a former Twitter account. Would you have that? Or would this be something you discontinue? I mean, I'm just asking because I don't know. I don't know what people want to do. It becomes a weird one. It's for sure. So what do you think? I don't know. I don't know what social media platforms I would really pay for if I had to. I mean, it's bad enough I have so many damn subscription services in regards to this. I mean, even the stuff that we use here at the radio station, to some extent, is a subscription service. Even like the stuff that I edit my audio with. I mean, not that you care about that, but I'm just saying it's just weird on subscription. And is this something you want to add? And if so, if you are willing to add this as a subscription service, what are you willing to pay? And think about this for a moment. As one goes, they all go. LinkedIn has been, you know, you have some options on LinkedIn if you want to pay for their subscription service. If it became full paid subscription, would you stick with them as well? I'm just asking because this is the world you have to take a look at. It might be the thing.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, Kim Jong is back. Yeah, he's back in Korea, so there you go. The state media for North Korea and Russia have reported that the gifts exchange between Junior and Vladimir Putin, both men exchanged rifles that were made in their respective countries. Vlad gave Junior a glove from the spaceship that had been worn while in orbit, and a local Russian governor gifted a full-body tactical armor set, and another diplomat gave him a full fur hat. Junior also headed home with about 5 attack drones, the kind that explodes on impact and have been used widely in Russia and in their war with the Ukraine. the gift of weapons violates the two UN Security Council resolution levied against North Korea, which Russia voted to approve as a permanent member of their very council. Apparently, in North Korea, there's a giant museum of to show off gifts that were offered by 3 generations of Kim family leaders. So there you go. What do you think? So this next thing that I want to mention here, you know how some people just like the world of the macabre because it is what it is. This might fall into this category. Seriously, this might fall into this category. So the front door of the home that Sharon Tate was murdered at, it has sold at auction. Yeah, sold at auction. You ready for this? $127,000. $127,000. Well over the $2,000 to $4,000 that it was expected to go for. $127,000. For those familiar with the August 8th, 1969 murder, the door was the same one that Charles Manson follower Susan Atkins wrote "Pig" on the in Tate's blood. No word yet on who the buyer is. So here's my question. Because, I mean, if we're going to get macabre, if we're going to go into the world of the morb, let's talk about this. Is the door cleaned? Or is it still in the same condition that it was in back in 1969? Like, was the blood wiped off? I mean, I know it's kind of a terrible question to ask, but somebody else is going to be thinking it. And might as well bring it up. So what's your thoughts? What's your thought process? I'm just asking. Just asking to know because I would love to have a better understanding. Anyways, a World War I era single-engine French-made Nieuport 28 fighter plane crashed during the landing at an American Heritage Museum in Hudson, Massachusetts over the weekend. The preliminary investigation suggests that the landing gear collapsed, causing the plane to flip over. Fortunately, the pilot was able to walk away. The plane believed to be the only one of 5 of the models remaining around the globe. This is according to Aerotime. Also, meanwhile, in South Carolina, the U.S. government appears to have lost an F-35B Lightning II jet that crashed after the pilot ejected during the flight on Sunday. The pilot maneuvered over the craft over 2 big lakes northwest of Charleston, South Carolina. It belongs to a training squadron whose purpose is helping fighter pilots clock adequate annual training hours. This is according to CNN. So what do you think? I'm just asking because this is where the world gets to, where we start doing some stuff-o. So there you go. Anyways, a 76-year-old Florida man named William March swung into action on Friday when an SUV crashed through his fence and landed in a swimming pool. March says that he immediately jumped into the water to help the driver when he noticed the little girl in the back seat. Fortunately, an off-duty detective spotted the crash and arrived to help. Both drivers and passengers were successfully recovered and taken to the hospital. No word exactly on what caused the crash, but get a load of this. March says that he has dealt with 7 cars crashing through his fence over the years. He's calling for the city of North Lauderdale to figure out a better system. I mean, no fucking kidding. I mean, just think about this. Wouldn't you want to put something similar to like how they have the Targets of the world or some of the like the shopping centers of the world where they have those little bars or giant balls that block kind of the doorway section? I mean, if you're having this kind of issue, this is something to think about. I mean, I don't know. That's just weird. I mean, it's just weird. Think about it. It's just one of those weird things as we go. Anyway, so let's talk about it right now because maybe it's time to talk about money. Yeah, maybe it's time to talk about money. What? You know, I just have that feeling that at time we need to talk about money. So let's do some Money Matters. I think we need to get a better picture for some money stuff. Yeah, well, I'll look for that today. Anyways, let's talk about some money right now. Aaron Royale coming your way.
The United Auto Workers strike against the big 3 U.S. automakers could go on for weeks, if not longer. UAW member Travis Harrison, who's picketing in Detroit, says to him the strike is about simple math.
I could see it going a few weeks for sure. Record profit should be spread out through the employees that are help making that profit.
Reports say the union met with Ford and GM over the weekend. The UAW president says progress has been slow. Nearly 13,000 auto workers remain on strike at 3 plants in Ohio, Michigan, and Missouri. They're demanding higher pay, shorter work weeks, and pension benefits. Social media users are making impulse buys at an increasing rate.
It can really add up. We found that over the past year, about 4 out of 10 social media users made an impulse buy of something that they saw on social media. And unfortunately, 57% of them regretted at least one of the purchases.
Bankrate senior analyst Ted Rossman says millennials made the most purchases of any age group, spending on average a little more than $1,000 a year on impulse buys. He says the study concluded that the older the person is, the less likely they are to make social media impulse buys.
Young adults are the most likely by far to be making these impulse buys inspired by social media. Little over half of millennial and Gen Z social media users have done so in the past year, versus only about a third of Gen Xers and only about a quarter of boomers.
$71 billion was spent on impulse items last year. Thousands of people believe Hawaii's planned date of October 8th is too soon to reopen West Maui to tourists. The petition urging the state to cancel that plan has received 3,600 signatures as of late Sunday, all signed within less than 24 hours. Lahaina will remain closed to visitors. Governor Josh Green's office says come October 8th, no one who qualified for housing assistance will be booted out of hotels. About 7,500 displaced residents are staying at 40 hotels across Maui. Meanwhile, more than 10,000 Maui residents are currently unemployed. With consumer and business news, Aaron Real, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Aaron, for the information. Stocks were mostly flat across the board on Monday. The Dow was up just about 6 points, closing at 34,624. The S&P was up about 3 points to close at 4,453, and the Nasdaq was up 1 point at 13,710. West Texas Intermediate closed at $91 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $94 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.88 on Monday. Bitcoin was up over 1% on Monday, trading around 26,800. There was more than 2,450 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Monday, and about 70 such cancellations. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for a $183 million jackpot or an $87.4 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you know, you can do that. You still have the opportunity to do so. So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Some stuff always going on, it seems like. So let's talk about this. Jennifer Hudson, Bill Maher, and the ladies of the talks have all decided to postpone the return of their respective talk shows amid the ongoing writer strike. The news comes after Drew Barrymore also decided to hold off her daytime talk show after a harsh criticism of over returning while the strikes were still ongoing. For this part, Maher said that he will postpone things for now, but doubled down that on the previous statement that people need to get back to work. As for the strikes, a new round of contract negotiations are currently being planned. So let's talk about this because we need to talk about it. What's going to happen with some of these talk shows and these sponsors? Because you know that these sponsors have contracts. And, you know, they want to get their product in front of X because that's what they do. So what's going to happen? I mean, you can only do this for so long before your sponsors start losing their crapola. It's just kind of the way that it goes. Let's not lie about it. So what do you think? Were they thinking about doing the right thing or were they thinking about doing the wrong thing? I don't know. That's what we're going to have to figure out. Anyways, take a listen to this. Gas prices are hitting their highest levels of the year. Mark Mayfield has the deets.
AAA said on Monday that the national average for regular gas is $3.88 per gallon. That's a 5-cent jump over the past week as nearly a dozen states now average $4 a gallon or higher. This comes as U.S. oil prices have climbed to over $92 a barrel for the first time since November of 2022. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Well, that gets scarier and scarier as we go. I always love when we start seeing those posts of people going, well, if you remember back in 2020, gas was $1.80. Yep. It was. I agree. There's this great thing called supply and demand. So, yeah, no demand, supply was high. Funny how those things work out when people start putting them into the factor. Take a listen to this. Miami-Dade may crack down on home improvement funding programs. Commissioner Raquel Regalado says they're voting on the bill to increase consumers' protection by requiring providers to explain exactly how much improvements will cost with current interest rates.
We need to address what happens when any of these PACE providers have a financing issue, given that we're seeing interest rates skyrocket.
The Property Assessed Clean Energy Program, or PACE, offers owners a way to pay back big-ticketed items without running credit checks or putting money down because they use their homes as collateral. Residents are upset because the state largest provider, Y Green, stopped doing business in Florida amid financials issues, leaving of homeowners with no money to pay for stuff. Commissioner Raquel Regalado says the residents are upset because the state's largest provider stopped doing the business. So take a listen to this.
But to pull the rug out from under people where you have the highest interest rates that you've seen, in 9 years, and to say, figure it out, I think that goes way too far.
Regalado says that she doesn't want to end the program. She just wants to put new rules in place.
Because, what happens to people, right, when we just pull the rug out and say, well, now we're not going to allow this provider to work in unincorporated Miami-Dade. Now you're going to have to find these other providers. Best of luck.
So there you go. Some interesting stuff as they are going on. The United Auto Workers strike against the big three U.S. automakers is heading into the fifth day. Trey Thomas has more.
Reports say the union has met with Ford, GM, and Stellantis with little to no progress on a new contract. This UAW member says it's simple math to him.
Record profit should be spread out to the employees that are help making that profit.
Nearly 13,000 auto workers remain on strike at 3 plants in Ohio, Michigan, and Missouri. They're demanding better pay and pension benefits. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for the information right there. No doubt about that. Take a listen to this. Community members are expressing concerns over the opening of 2 more migrant shelters on Chicago's near West Side. During the meeting last night, residents voiced their frustration over what they say that the city's lack of notice and transparency.
Always gotten 48 hours notice for street cleaning, and we have gotten no notice, no contact, no word whatsoever from city, county, anyone about what's going on.
The city is expected to soon open another migrant shelter at a 5-story building, as well as the former Cook County adult probation facility. Thousands of migrants are currently living at an overcrowded police station and airports in Chicago while waiting to be placed at shelters. So there you go. Take a listen to this. Michigan State University is firing head football coach Mel Tucker for alleged sexual harassment. Trey Thomas shares.
The university announced on Monday that it was terminating Tucker's contract for cause. This comes after the coach was suspended earlier this month over allegations of sexual misconduct involving a prominent rape survivor and activist. Tucker signed a 10-year, $95 million contract less than 2 years ago. I'm Trey Thomas.
So there you go. Some information going on for sure. We'll see how that shakes out when it's all said and done, because I'm sure that will not be the end of that. So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, it is 32 minutes past top of the hour. So let's do that thing we do around this time. We call it our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So going into the story of the main of the stories, let's talk about it. Let's take a lookser, some of the things that we need to talk about, because, hey, if not, we would be doing something entirely unnatural. So taking a look to what the hell is going on inside of the world, have you ever had that uninvited guest? Yeah. You're at work and the uninvited guest shows up. That thing that you didn't have planned for the day is occurring. You have that thing that happened at home that the uninvited guest knocked on the door. Or maybe sometimes they're already inside of your house and you didn't even expect them to be. And you might be sitting here going, what the hell's going on? Well, let's talk about it. You heard briefly about it earlier, but let's make this our main story. This was no Winnie the Pooh story. A bear that prompted partial closures at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom on Monday was captured without incident and is being relocated, according to a news release from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation. In most cases, it's best for bears to be given space and move along on their own, but given this situation, staff had captured the animal and were relocating the bear out of the park to the near area of the Ocala National Forest. This is according to the FWC. FWC added that the animal was an adult female. Nearly a dozen of attractions were closed on Monday at the time as authorities were trying to locate the bear at the Magic Kingdom, according to My Disney Experience app. Imagine that app saying that. So at 11:17 Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time, the attraction Swiss Family Treehouse, Magic Carpet, Aladdin, Jungle Cruise, Enchantment Tiki Room, Pirates of the Caribbean, County Bear Jamboree, Tom Sawyer Island, Walt Disney World Railroad, Liberty Square Riverboat, Hall of Presidents, and Haunted Mansion were closed to the public, according to an official app screen show that according to CNN's Craig Williams, executive producer of the WInfo.com. It was not clear if the closures or how many were related to the bear sighting. CNN has reached out to Disney for more details about specific closures, but has not heard back yet. In an earlier statement, Disney says, we are working with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission and have made the decision to reopen the Frontierland Liberty Square and Adventure Magic Park. Aerial images captured by CNN's affiliates WESH. If you go to their website, show more the bear was captured in a wooded area near the Magic Kingdom. It's a Small World ride. The video shows the team carrying the bear away from in a tarp. And there was 3 other major parks at the resort: Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. So there you go. So think about that. All of a sudden you're working and something all out of the blue occurs like that. I mean, because listen, we have some odd things that occur. And of course, I was being a little sarcastic as we started off with the uninvited guest, but tell me that's not an uninvited guest. So I call it unspectacular planning. Plan for the worst, hope for the best, and move on from there. Because it's difficult. I mean, it is not an easy feat in regards of what is going on. It is not easy when something like this occurs. I mean, listen, I don't know where your job site is. I don't know what's going on with your work environment, but things happen that are so weird at times that you never know what the hell's going to happen. And I don't care what kind of matrix you have written out of actual things that can occur, what kind of effect they would have inside of your organization. But when you have something along this lines, this is going to have a pretty large impact on your day, especially when you're closing down about 1/3 of your park. So what do you think? Have you had a situation at your job where you had the quote-unquote uninvited guest and things kind of went awry? Or is this something that would just never apply to you because that's just not the world that you live in? I don't know. Some things to think about as we are talking.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet, completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Radio.
Hello.
USA, Canada, UK.
Okay, 43 minutes past the top of the hour. You are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show. This is hour number 1 of the Jay Allen of the Morning Show. Yeah, we'll be hanging out for the next couple hours or so on Radio Big after this show, talking about the world of music and entertainment. So if you want to take a listen to that. This right here, this is Pacific with WYAF. Yeah, we won't even make assumptions on what that means. So you can give it a little streamer action. YouTube Music, Apple Music, Spotify. Yeah, we like to play them all here because that's what we do. Pure dream, I'm never waking up. I guess that's a good spot to be in, I guess. So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, let's continue moving and grouping. Thank you for Pacific for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. There is no doubt about that. Always trying to bring you new and different music. Seriously. So let's talk. Let's talk real quick about the most important thing that I am going to tell you in my lifetime. And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No, seriously. No doubt about it, as I do bring it up, as we do talk about it, this is the most important thing that I'm going to tell you. And listen, we all have been in weird places at one point. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Yes, things can get better. So, if you want more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. Click on the section that says Find Help. All kinds of resources available right there for you. If you're interested, if not, you can even go there just to find out information on being able to help other people or just to get involved. Talk about all kinds of different things. It's anything from stores to donate to events to stories. Help spreads the message of To Write Love on Her Arms. Wow, I've popped my lips like 3 or 4 times during this show today. Somebody needs to slap me. So there you go. And I did it again after I said that I did it. So To Write Love on Her Arms, TWLOHA.com. Click on the section that says Find Help. Find Help. Find help. So there you go. Let's continue talking a little bit about some other things that are going on. Let's talk about some reduction formula. If this becomes a thing, it'll even be better than Ozempic. A new anti-obesity drug could allow you to lose weight and eat anything you want. Scientists say that they have discovered a way called obesity switch in the brain. It controls a cluster of neurons in the brain that regulates fat expenditure. The researcher says at Institute Basic Science in Korea and say that this could lead to the end of obesity for billions of people worldwide. The team says it has already conducted a successful animal trials and that the new drug, which helped mice lose weight without cutting down their food intake. What's the drug called? Tapeworm? I mean, I don't know. And if you take this pill and it cuts down on food, you may never be seen again. I mean, I don't know. What do you go out for? I mean, I have people that I know that don't do anything unless it's go out to eat. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. Take a listen to this. It may not be a surprise for you to hear this, but according to a poll, a majority of young adults think that proper spelling just doesn't matter anymore, nor does punctuation. It would seem that at least when using social media messaging platforms, in a survey of 2,000 Gen Zs, it was found that less than a quarter use periods, commas, and quotation marks as their casual communication. For comparison, more than half of those people, 55% over the age of 65, said that they would that they continuously use different things to make sure that they're using proper grammar on texting and posting online. The younger adults were found to likely use the correct punctuation and text messages 69% of the times, but those on social media platforms like Snapchat and TikTok say that less than 10% bother with that stuff. Just a quarter of those between the ages of 18 to 24 use capital letters correctly compared to 61% of seniors, and it's just 16% of Gen Z always use periods at the end of their sentences. Not only that, but they laugh at those who do. And our phones actually have autocorrect, so they're fixing the spelling is for us. They at least can do that. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of things to think about when it comes to that stuff. I just type away, and I think it just happens. Whatever happens, it's kind of the way that it goes. So take a listen to this from the Forever Fall Halloween Facebook page. Someone posted a review of the new pumpkin spice Frosty from Wendy's. Beautiful description. Just a little PSA style testimony here. The pumpkin spice Frosty I was so excited to try at Wendy's is absolutely revolting. I have had some time to think about it and the power of washing inside of my mouth. And the best way that I can describe the flavor is that it melted dollar store pumpkin candle spritz with a 65-year-old Avon perfume and stirred up the leg of a haunted Victorian doll. Try it. Try it if you must, but I do not recommend it. So there you go. There you go. You know, if Wendy's was an advertiser, they would be having a shit fit here that I was talking about it, but they're not, so I guess I can talk about these things. But isn't that weird? People want pumpkin spice everything, and then you get to something like that, and you go, well, did I really want that in the first place? I don't really think that I did. But there you go. Anyways, let's talk real quick about some other things that are going on. Hunter Biden is suing the IRS. NBC's Ryan Noble has more.
Biden's lawsuit says the whistleblowers, quote, sought to embarrass Mr. Biden via public statements to the media in which they and their representatives disclose confidential information about a private citizen's tax matters.
President Biden's son specifically alleges the IRS agents illegally disclosed his tax information. The lawsuit was filed in federal court in Washington, D.C. on Monday. It comes just days after Hunter Biden was indicted on federal gun charges. Those allegations center on the disclosure made by two IRS agents during a television interview testimony before Congress. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about. Take a listen to this. The MTA is unveiling a new prototype designed to protect bus operators from potential assault and prevent collision with side mirrors. Steve Greenfield has more.
New York City Transit is testing and evaluating the efficacy of a fully enclosed operator compartment prototype for drivers, designed to cover the operators by providing a sturdy physical barrier separate from the public area all the way up to the roof. In addition, the agency has installed and is testing out the effectiveness of new e-mirror prototypes on several buses now in service with the goal of reducing collisions. Steve Greenfield, NBC News Radio.
It will be interesting to see how this stuff actually ends up translating over when it's all said and done. Take a listen to this. There's a growing need for bilingual workers and volunteers in Colorado Springs. Alma Scott, the family services coordinator for the City Salvation Army, says that they want to hire Spanish speakers because about half of the people that they serve at the food pantry are Hispanic.
Our Hispanic community has grown here, and we want to make sure that they feel welcome and that they can come in and ask those hard questions.
More Spanish-speaking families are moving to Colorado Springs, increasing the demand for translators. The U.S. Census Bureau reports that about 18% of population is Hispanic or Latino out of the nearly 500,000 people who live in the city. That makes Hispanics the largest minority group in the area. Organizations have been working to make the needed changes that include information in Spanish or their websites, and also have pamphlets and flyers. Shannon Coker, the Chief Operating Officer of Care and Share Food Banks in Southern Colorado, says their food banks have also seen a need in bilingual workers and volunteers.
We have had to translate by using Google to be able to meet the neighbor where they're at. Just having more folks on our staff and in our volunteer base who can speak multiple languages would certainly be ideal for us.
Yep, that is always a good thing to have, no doubt about that. Anyways, with this being said, let's go ahead and do this real quick. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Heidi. Sofo Archon said, "What's the best way to control people? Divide them into different ideological groups, and they'll soon start fighting against each other. This way, they will forget who their true enemy is." Sadly, this happens all the time, in office settings, in politics and religion, in life in general. Instead of letting anyone divide you and tell you who to dislike, think for yourself. I have many friends who are complete opposite of me in many different areas of our lives, but I pride myself in being able to rise above that and have a meaningful conversation about things we do agree on. Now, does that mean I'm going to change their mind on those other things? Not at all. I'll most likely not even attempt to. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Obesity is a growing contributing factor in heart disease deaths. Research published in the Journal of the American Heart Association shows it was cited on death certificates 3 times as often in 2020 than in 1999. The raw data, which comes from the CDC, revealed more than 280,000 heart disease deaths linked to obesity in 2020. The highest mortality rate was in the Black population. The CDC says obesity which is a major risk for heart disease, affects 115 million people in the U.S., including more than 1 in 4 adults. An Asheville, North Carolina hospital is one of more than a dozen in the state targeted by cyber hackers. A healthcare firm called Nuance made the announcement. CRN.com reports that a Russian group has claimed responsibility. Health updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, nothing better than when you're hitting a button and nothing goes through. Yeah, fun times there, that was for sure. It was like, hold on, is the button working? No. It doesn't feel that way, that's for sure. Anyways, 54 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's do some of this stuff. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1995, the New York Times and Washington Post published the Unabomber 35,000-word manifesto after he promised more deaths if the newspapers didn't comply. Federal investigation actually approved the move, and they thought that it increased the public awareness would help capture the terrorists. That happened back in 1995. What a deal, huh? 1995. If you're looking at some birthdays that happened back on this date, let's talk about them. So today, Trey Young turns 25. Pia Mia turns 27. Daniel Panabaker turns 36. Renee Paquette turns 38. Kevin Zegler turns 39. So does Natalia Eva Marie. Jimmy Fallon turns 49 today. Santa Lathan turns 52. Trisha Yearwood, 59. Twiggy, yeah, the model, turned 74. Jeremy Irons turned 75 today, so there you go. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, definitely not as many as there were yesterday, because yesterday there was a ton of them. No doubt about that. It's Get Ready Day, Talk Like a Pirate Day, and National Butterscotch Day. No, seriously, it's National Butterscotch Day. Let's talk a little bit more about talking like a pirate. No joke.
The day came about after two friends in Oregon came up with the idea in 1995. They in turn asked for help from humor columnist Dave Barry, who loved the idea, and the day began. Our fascination with pirates dates back to 1950 with the film Treasure Island, although most pirate language from that movie was made up. Speech historians say some words really were used by real-life pirates. Ahoy, ar, avast, and aye, all noted pirate words, and you can feel free to use them today to talk like a pirate. I'm Bree Tennis, NBC News Radio.
So does this mean that now that you know this, are you going to go around talking like a pirate today? I mean, seriously. I mean, unless you work in some kind of pirate type of thing, I mean, it's kind of weird. But if you have a whole day that you have the opportunity of doing so, why not take advantage of it? Seriously. I mean, hey, listen, we all have to act a little strange sometimes. I guess I get to do it on a daily fashion right here. Hold on. Am I giving too much away by saying that? Maybe so. Who knows? Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. If you need a random joke for today, inside me there's a person struggling to get out, but I can usually sedate him with about 4 to 5 cupcakes. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's your all-time favorite cover song and least favorite? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. In a survey, 25% of people said that they have been annoyed by their neighbor who does this. What is it? Plays a musical instrument. So there you go. Anyways, I'm going to mention this real quick. Couple things. Number one, you still have the opportunity. I have very, 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 very few tickets left if you're still interested in coming down to Orlando next week, 27th to the 29th. Conklin Conference. Todd Conklin, Jen Long, Bob Edwards, Mark Yeston, Andrea Baker, and I'll be there hosting. We'll talk about the world of human and organizational performance. If you want to come down and hang out with us here in Orlando, to find out more information, safetyfm.io, safetyfm.io for more information if you want to come out and hang out. Anyways, top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm. Sheldon Primus will be hanging out on Safety FM if you want to do that, and he'll talk about the world of safety consulting. I will be talking about the world of music and entertainment if you go over to radiobig.fm. Thank you for always being the best part of Radio Big and Safety FM, and that is the listener, because without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. No doubt about that. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. There is no joke as I say this. Impossible is an option, not a fact. Think about that. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
This feels so real. The day you swept me off my feet, better than I ever wanted. The one that I never saw coming, and I never want this to end. It's okay.